Okay, good evening, everybody.
Mhm.
Welcome to this webinar on supportive underwear, which has kindly been sponsored by Suportx. Um, and we have Maria from Suportx who will give us a talk later on. Um, we will take questions at the end of the session. So if you want to put them into chat, then please feel free to do that as we go along, and we'll pick them up at the end. If you do ask a question that we answer, it will be part of the recording that goes on the website afterwards. So it will be part of the recording that other people can see. So just be aware of that. Um, Supportive underwear, as most of you will know, I mean, there's different statistics from 50% of people with ostomies would have a hernia to 50, between 50 and 70% of people. Um, so it's important that we look after that and try and prevent the getting it in the first place. And if we have got one, then supporting it and looking after ourselves in the second instance. So without further ado, I'll pass on to our first speaker, Claire Taylor. Claire is Chief Nursing Officer of Macmillan Cancer Support, and she also works as a senior oncology nurse at Northwest London Hospital, and has been involved in complex pelvic cancer surgery over the years, involved in forming colostomies and urostomies. So Claire is well versed in the area that we're involved in tonight. So pass over to you, Claire.
Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you to Samantha and to the Urostomy Association for asking me to speak. It's a real pleasure to be with you. Hello, everybody. So you've had the introduction about me. I'm going to bring up my slides and I'll talk through a study that I was involved with a few years ago, which I still think is relevant today. And I hope you find it interesting. And I've entitled this The Experience of Wearing Support Garments Research. So actually, I was just one of a number of people involved in this work. And this is a picture that was probably taken a couple of years before the pandemic, actually. So this is a team of both exercise specialists, researchers, and people who joined our patient advisory group. I'm at the front there in a flowery shirt, and we're all showing that we're strong and we're working together as a team. And we were down in a gym in Harrow that I'd managed to source because I was working as a cancer nurse in Northwick Park, which is based in northwest London. And so we got free use of the gym that day to help look at exercises that we could offer to people who had any sort of stoma. And that was some earlier work that we've been involved in. And so it's really good to work with people who were ostomists to look at the different exercises they were able to do in a gym. And it was just a really great collaboration. I think it was the first time that we brought together a number of different professionals and with patients to come up with solutions. So that was the sort of first time I'd got involved in work with this group. And it was led by a really lovely professor. She is now Jill Hubbard, who was working up in the Highlands and Islands. But we also had researchers from Leeds, from University in London, and we came together with to look at actually what the research needs were in the first instance. For what do people with stoma most want to research? So we looked at all the evidence and we spoke to people and we wrote this paper. And interestingly, the thing that they said they most wanted us to focus on as a research group was what we could do about hernias or bulges that might appear around the stoma. So they there was a lack of research on this, but there was also the people who had hernias were telling us there isn't really anything to guide us, and the healthcare specialists, particularly stoma care nurses, were saying we don't really know, quite what to do. There had actually been some research, but it hadn't been particularly patient focused, and there was a need for more of it. So yes, as Brian mentioned, it is a risk following a stoma forming surgery because the abdominal muscle through which the stoma is raised can weaken, or what we call atrophy, and that muscle weakness can mean that there is bulging around the stoma. And it can be difficult for people to manage. It can be painful. It can cause leaks. It can be cosmetically sort of unsightly in that person's eyes. Can be make contouring difficult. And so, yeah, I could understand why people wanted us to look at this problem. And actually, when we did a survey on patients' needs back in 2020, the sample that we spoke to, nearly half said that they had a hernia or bulge. So it's perhaps more common than we think. I think we quote that maybe 1/3 of people after a stoma will have a lifetime risk of a bulge. And I certainly felt, somebody who worked quite closely with surgeons in my hospital role, that the solution was generally to offer surgery. Not everybody wanted that, nor was everybody necessarily fit enough to have it. And I thought we should be looking at those other solutions and seeing how well they worked and how they could be optimized. The best evidence actually has come from the UK Association of Stoma Care Nurses, and they feel that the belts and underwear is a really important way of both preventing and supporting people who have parastomal hernias, but that prevention role was a particular interest. And as I said, there was little research in this field. So we thought, yeah, we need to do something here. So what we thought we would look at is the support garments experience. So if people were happy with the garments that there were, how often they were using them, how comfortable they were, and if they felt that they were effective. And by support garments, we were talking about both the belts and also underwear. So that there's a big range. Vests, knickers, girdles, pants. I'm sure some of you will know. There's different strengths, different measures of support that are available with those. And there's a number of different companies providing them. So there is a real range here, which is great because we want people to have choice. So this research actually was conducted between April and May 2018. And we wrote our own questions. So because there hadn't been any research in this field, we wanted to ask people about their support garments. We felt it was best to approach people who were older, not children. So we said over 16 and had any type of stoma. For today, I'll be looking at the urostomy data, but it was people who had any of the bowel stoma or urine stoma and could complete our questionnaire in English because we weren't able to translate it due to funding. And we advertised it mainly through social media, but at a conference I'd met the chief executive of a stoma company called Vanilla Blush that does perhaps more of the sexy end of the scale of support garments. And Nicola agreed to also email the study out to addresses that she had of customers to see whether we could get a slightly different group of, but also increase the number of people replying to the questionnaire. The survey was hosted by an online survey company called Bristol, where people could put their confidential answers to the questions in, and then it collated those. And then as a research group, we analysed them. And we got a really good number of replies to that survey. We were really surprised how it took off over social media, particularly Twitter, which is now called X. 1,528 people responded. And some people had a stoma, but there were still 1,425 people who were living with a bowel stoma, and 103 were living with a urostomy. And I just thought you might like to see the whole data set. So on the right there, we've got a table showing for everybody who replied to this questionnaire, the 1,528. This is their spread of ages. This is the time that they'd had a stoma, and over half had had any stoma over 4 years. And I suppose the peak age, not surprisingly, was between the mid-40s and the mid-70s. Sort of fits with what I might have expected from my clinical experience. So yeah, pleased to see that we had 103 replies from people who'd just had a urinary stoma. And the reasons why they said they had the urostomy formed was predominantly for cancer, so that was 61%. Physical trauma, smaller, other reasons were stated, and in 2 cases, people didn't say why. The most interesting bit, I think, is how frequently they said that they wore either a support belt or support underwear from this 103. So we've got 2 different colours in this graph that I'm showing you on the bottom right. And the lighter blue is the underwear usage and the dark blue is the belt usage. And so they've replied either that they use the underwear and belts. Sorry, something going on the slide. Frequently or infrequently. So you can see that infrequently belts were used, but more frequently was support underwear by 2/3 of the sample, and a couple of people didn't reply. So that's just showing the frequency. And we decided I think frequency we defined as more than once a week. You can't see perhaps all of the comments here, but when we analysed the data that we got, we separated it into different themes. So some was around their physical self-management, some was around their psychosocial, which is their kind of emotional and social management of the support garments. Some was around lifestyle factors, and the final one was getting healthcare advice and support. And there's quite a lot of different themes here, and I can't read them all out because I can't see the full slide. I'm sorry, but the themes are just some of the quotes. These are what people wrote in their questionnaire. These are exactly how they wrote them, just to give you a feel for some of their experiences of wearing the support garments. So if we take the middle one on the top, I have 2 hernia belts that from a certain company, wearing them all the time, but unfortunately this hasn't prevented this individual from developing a parastomal hernia. And then the next person down says they've worn them ever since their operation, and they're of the firm belief that this has definitely contributed to them not having a hernia. So there's some people who, would wear them all the time and absolutely swore by them and felt that they got the comfort and support they needed to prevent them getting a hernia. For some people, it was a bit more in the middle, that I got some confidence but not total reassurance, particularly in terms of noises, leaks. So that they weren't absolutely sure that by wearing a garment they weren't going to get leaks, but for some there was definitely increased confidence by having a support garment. And you'll see in lifestyle, this person saying, I'm feeling more confident in everyday life now they're wearing pants, but the not able to do some of the activities that they'd like to do. So it might be okay for everyday living, but there was a feeling from some people that trying to do some of the more strenuous physical activities was difficult with the support garments. I think a good majority felt that they definitely played an important role in hernia prevention. And they did provide a level of support that not only sort of physically felt more comfortable for them, but actually psychologically helped them feel that they were protected as well. But they were talking about what they were like to wear, and that sometimes they weren't very comfortable, and that they could, if they weren't sort of fitted properly, that they might feel that they would roll up or roll down, and the creasing could create extra sort of problems for them. So the fitting of these garments is really key. What we found, sort of in summary then, is that people wearing support underwear use them more frequently than the support belts. So I think you're already going to wear a pair of knickers, so why not wear a supportive pair of knickers or underpants? Some definitely thought it was invaluable to have this as part of their daily wear, but there were some people who actually just used them when they did do some physical activity. They felt they didn't need them when they went around their day-to-day sort of activities. But if they felt they were going to put stress on their abdomen, they thought that it could give them an additional layer of protection. There's quite a lot of comments about this fear of the urine leaking from the appliance, and a support garment for some reduce that, but not for all. I think we were surprised that people were saying that they didn't always find them particularly comfortable. And it really highlighted the importance of having proper choice and specialist support. So what we advise as a kind of research team is that, yeah, fantastic that we've got a range of different supplies, making sure that people were sent to, either the right high street stores or to specialist ostomy manufacturers to get what they might need. And also, of course, they are available on prescription, and not everybody was aware of that. And that's something we should be telling everybody about. And I actually think I used to work quite closely with stoma nurses, so I think they have an important role, or even indeed the manufacturers, in assessing and measuring people to make sure that they get the right support garment. And I'm sure you'll hear more about this in the next talk from Maria. So we didn't really feel the information that was available about how to wear garments was good enough. But also, once you've got a garment, are you going to then get checked every year? In the stoma team I used to work with would do a review check, but I'm not sure they always asked about the support garments. They might ask about the appliance, they might ask about diet and bowel habit or whatever, but they didn't always sort of focus in on support garments. It was often left to the individual to make the choices, and it seems a bit of a shame, because if the choices hadn't been the right ones and people lost confidence in the garments, then they didn't always then continue to try them. And I felt it was probably a case of trial and error here, and that there's probably a garment that's going to be good for everybody, but they just need to persist a little bit longer to find the right one. And of course, make sure it's sized appropriately for them, and they know how to use it. So that's the end of that study. As I said, it was a few years ago, but I thought there hadn't really been much in this field, and I thought it was interesting to share it with you today. And I'm happy to take any questions if anything wasn't clear. Thank you.
Thanks, Claire. We'll one or two questions have popped up in the chat, which we'll take later on at the end of the session.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Yeah, our next speaker is John Waring. John is a retired GP and has been for 19 years. But he says he's still a youngster, really, at the age of 81. I hope he didn't mind me saying that, but there we go. John's also been involved with the Urostomy Association for quite a while as treasurer of one of our branches in Yorkshire. John's talk has been recorded, so I'll ask Scott if he'll play that for us now.
Thank you, John. And can I ask, why do you wear a hernia belt?
I wear one because I've got a huge, great hernia and weakness. I had my urostomy 10 years ago, and I can't recall ever being told about parastomal hernias or their frequency. When I had the first review, the consultant said, oh, no hernia. I'd had a second operation 6 months later where the whole thing was redone, basically, which I think has probably led to increased weakness. Again, no mention of hernias, and this was 10 years ago. I'm hoping that's changed now. Following that, I didn't like carrying a full pouch of urine around. It's heavy. Water is one of the heaviest things we have, and I was uncomfortable. So I needed something to try and support it. I didn't call them hernia belts at that stage. It was just a support belt. It was very primitive. I've got rid of them. They've gone in the bin a long time ago. Um, they had lots of Velcro, and they were all right. It worked for a while, but they weren't very efficient. I had an inguinal hernia which I had repaired, and the consultant looked at the belt I was wearing, which was the equivalent of this one, and he said, "It's rubbish. It's not doing what it should do, and you need to find a better one." And that's where I sort of moved on a bit. I tried one or two alternatives, measured up, and they sent them. None of them, I didn't feel happy about any of them. I thought this one with the with the hole actually made the hernia protrude more, or at least my stomach protrude more. So that was uncomfortable. And I looked hard at finding an alternative. So I've got one which is just a single layer, which is it's thin, it's comfortable, and it's just for knocking about. I mean, he said you can wear it at night, you can wear it all the time, and I don't. But he said that was okay. And then I've got the double one, which is when I'm doing heavier jobs. I'm a very keen gardener, so there's lots of things to do. So this has two layers. I don't know whether you can see, but there's a inner layer and an outer layer. So there's a double whammy. It makes it a little bit more comfortable. It's actually not. It's doing it. It's good for when you're doing the work. For when you're actually lifting and bending and things. Do you get extra leaks? Well, that was my biggest worry. And the firm in Leeds said, no, you won't get any extra. We'll be absolutely fine. I'm not 100% sure that is correct. But from comfort point of view, it's comfort in hot weather. I do find that you need to go to the loo fairly frequently, more frequently than if you weren't wearing one, or if you were wearing one with a hole in where everything's out, as it were. I find that perhaps journeying back, say from the coast, we go to Whitby sometimes. It's about an hour and a half, and you can start off. You've emptied everything, and you start off, and then halfway round you think, "Oh my God, where am I going to go? What am I going to do?" So we know every hedge, we know every supermarket, because a supermarket always has a loo. And that's a good place to go to. Sometimes it's a garage. I looked at having my hernia repaired. Because when I had the inguinal hernia, the chap looked at it. I said, "Can you mend this?" He said, "Well, we could." He said, "But it would be a very big operation." And he says, "I'm not sure that the benefits are going to be what you need." So yeah, that's it. I wear the support. I get around. It's lasted me for 10 years, and I'm still doing all my jobs despite my old age and longevity. So yeah, don't know whether there's anything else you want to ask me.
Just what would be your advice to anyone considering buying a support belt for the first time?
Try to um, try to investigate every possibility. The chances are that your stoma nurse will have some knowledge and some contacts. That's probably where you would get the first stage of progressing it. Other than that, go to your stoma days, your branch meetings, because there's usually somebody with equipment there, and you can ask them and they can set you up. I mean, there's all sorts of equipment these days, but yes. And then if all else fails, use the internet.
Great. Thanks very much, John. That was brilliant.
Yeah, very good, very good, John. Thanks for that insight. Our final speaker is Maria Manousi from Suportx. And Maria's been involved in supportive underwear for ostomates now for the past 13 years. So her work involves understanding what we as ostomates require. So I'm sure we'll be enlightened by some of the points that she puts across on her talk. So over to you, Maria.
Maria, just give me a shout when you want the slides to move across. You don't need to be polite. You don't need to say please or thank you. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Maria, and I work for Suportx. So just a few words, who we are, what we do. Suportx is a British company. Our main office is based in Nottingham, and we make our garments in Nottingham. And what we do, abdominal support garments, whatever is classed as class 1 medical device. So we work across the UK with healthcare professionals and patients trying to provide the right service and the right garments. Scott, we can go with, I'll go quickly through these slides because the most important part is to talk about what we can offer. So you go more. So the NHS spends over £1 million every year in the provision of support garments. So it's very, very important to choose the right garment for everyone and to avoid costly trials if possible, just not to waste products and money. We can move, yeah? So why people use support garments? So believe it or not, the main reason people will ask for a support garment, it's not to prevent the support, to prevent the hernia, it's to cover the stoma bag. When we see people at home, we see people in clinics every day, or they will, our office will contact them for an assessment. The first thing that everybody will say, especially post-op, is to cover the stoma bag, to feel a bit more confident, to feel a bit more comfortable, to start going out. We can move, thank you. So many people will say really nice things about support garments. Oh, I feel so confident, I feel so supported, covers my back, I can go back to the gym, and all this nice stuff. Amazing, great. They are good stuff. We can move, Scott, thank you. And yes, these garments will make us feel more confident, cover the scars, cover the stomach, cover the bag, everything, especially after our operation. We feel vulnerable. We feel that we need to rebuild that confidence, that connection with our own body. We can move. So we said why people use support garments and why they find it really nice and all good and well. It's nice to talk about the nice stuff, but let's move further down why people will not wear support garments. What is wrong with support garments? So let's move further down, Scott. Thank you. And more down.
Yep. Next.
And more. And more. There you go.
Excellent.
So, yes, like I said, it's really nice when people say, yeah, I will wear it for the right reasons to prevent prevent a hernia formation. Yes, it's a hernia, it's nothing scary or life-threatening, but it's a problem that it's really possible to have after an operation in the abdominal area, especially if on top of that you have a stoma. Yes, it's not life-threatening though, and but it's a problem that you don't want, affects your life, how you fit your stoma bag and everything. But wearing a support garment has many buts, and we heard John earlier. So what are the problems? Incorrect sizing and leaks. Yes. Wearing the wrong size of trousers or a skirt, it's already a problem. A support garment, it's exactly that, gives you support. And especially if it's not the light support that does minimum things, the strong support garment, if it's not the right size, it's uncomfortable. And I know that I wear one every day, all day. So if it's not the right size, you can't use it. And yes, if you have a stoma bag, if it's too tight, not the right size, not the right depth, sometimes, yes, maybe it will cause leaks. Although when a stoma bag leaks, usually the problem is different, but some people will associate the leaks with support garments. We can move. So they find them also restrictive, uncomfortable, that there is no breathability and lack of style. Yeah, that's another thing. And it's important. Yes, we had an operation. Yes, we survived something really big, but this doesn't mean that we don't want to live again. So style also matters. Can we move? Many people will say, yes, it's not very comfortable, but I will have to wear it because the benefits outweigh the discomfort. And especially if people have a parastomal hernia, they must wear it to give some support, to help you move around. It makes you feel more comfortable. Takes away that dragging feeling all the time. If you have a hernia, you have that as well. Can we move? Thank you. So now the main part, how us as Suportx, we're trying to answer and to address these problems. So we're asking all the time our customers and patients when we see them at home, especially when there is a review next year or 3 years later, or when they have that customer care call, what is the issue? And we need to find solutions. So throughout the years, we know what are the problems. So we develop constantly more and more new products trying to answer this and to address these problems. So now we have many products available, a wide variety, that they go from firm to moderate to light support. They are available in many different sizes. We do garments and belts for babies, newborns, and they go up to whatever XL. And they can be different depths and different shapes and different styles. The fabric is very, very, very important. Breathability. It's important for comfort, but especially if you're wearing a stoma bag, you don't want to be sweaty. Affects the way that bag sticks next to your skin. So sometimes if it's really hot, we are sweaty, sometimes that peels off the bag. So we don't want that. So we use really breathable fabric with cotton fibers, so to take off the moisture. So the fabric on every Suportx product stretches 4 directions. So every garment is especially designed to be worn over stoma bags. And we're trying our garments to be discreet, so people will feel comfortable to wear. So let's move now to the actual products to see how we can address these problems. Products for everyday activities or hot weather, they complain, oh, they make me feel sweaty, oh, it's very uncomfortable, I can't wear them. So we developed the more breathable belts that we call them breathable belts. They are adjustable with Velcro or as tubes. They can be different depths, different sizes. The fabric is very, very stretchy and breathable. They are shaped at the back, so that's a better fit and you feel more comfortable and stops the belt from moving up and down. And also, to be honest, this is the ideal belt to wear over a urostomy bag because it's moderate support, so you can do your garden, shopping, sports like running, cycling, yoga, Pilates, dancing, everything like that. And they will give you good support, so it's ideal solution if you have a urostomy bag. Now, can I wear it for 10 hours with my urostomy bag? Well, yes, but we have to empty the bag. We know that the thing with the urostomy bag is that there is always something in there. There is no empty bag. So halfway through, when we're wearing a support garment, it will be nice to empty our bag. And it's normal. Why? Still, it's a support garment. If it's not supportive, if it doesn't feel snug and supportive, will not do the job. So it's pointless to use it. And with these belts, when we developed these belts, what we had in mind, it was to stop cutting holes on support garments. It's not a great idea because it's like we're pushing everything back and we're pulling the actual stoma out. We're not protecting the area where we need the support. So discretion, tube belts. They are pull-up belts. They can be also for ladies, we can cover with lace. It's very strong support belt. It's still a medical device, will give a very good support. Just we cover the belt with lace just to make it look nice. And works really nice when we talk to teenagers and younger people or people that they need. I want to feel okay with myself again. Yes, I do have a stoma, but I want something nice. It's only fair. So it's available. And briefs and shorts, obviously, they're very, very discreet for men and ladies. They will follow our shape. They're not visible. They will cover the stoma bag. Everything good and well. Just on prescription garments, in general, the rule is that we are allowed for about 2 to 3 every year on prescription. So yes, with belts, it's easier to manage because you don't have to wash them every day. With briefs and shorts, the logistics are a bit more difficult. And what we do if we have a urostomy, but we do extreme sports or manual work, or people with young children, or for whatever reason, they need also to protect the stomach bag and still use a very strong support belt. These are the easy pill belts, and they can come in one prescription as one product. Every belt can come with a stomach guard. So we tried different stomach guards in the past. We have the round, small ones with a cannula at the bottom. This one is open at the bottom, wide open. So any stomach bag will go down. That goes over the stomach bag. So the stomach bag will go down. Nothing will cut or compromise the capacity of the stomach bag, and still will be protected and not squeezed. So that's another solution. New addition to our products. Can we move? And now light support products, light support belts. So the level 1 belt that we give to everyone post-op, it's light support. I will not advise anyone to go to the gym and lift weights and stuff like that, or to do work with the level 1 light support belt. But it's good if you're going out for a walk, you're doing just your everyday stuff at home. Yes, it will offer light support. And also the Stoma Safe belt, again, it's light support. I think John is using this belt. It's a belt with 2 layers. So first layer has a hole for the stomach bag to be on the outside, and the second layer comes on top to cover the stomach bag and to offer extra support. Again, it's a light support belt, but this is why we need so many different products, because everybody's different lifestyle, different needs, different activities, different shapes. So we need different products. Scott, can we move please to the next one? Thank you. Also, we offer bespoke garments. Although we have so many different products available, we find that about 30 to 40% of our customers will need a bespoke garment. From minimum changes, you know, to the depth and a bit of the shape and a bit of this, a bit of that, or we have to create something from scratch for them because they have a massive hernia and nothing, a standard, will work for them. An example here, like I said, we're trying to avoid cutting holes, although many people will ask for it, especially because they feel afraid to wear something over a stomach bag, especially over a urostomy, feels and can be a bit challenging. So for this gentleman here, we created, yes, he needed a belt with a hole to have access to his stomach bag, but in order to restore some of the support over this hole and not to leave the stomach completely exposed, the designer created a flap that goes over the stomach bag to cover and restore some of the support. Can we move? Thank you. So now, what we offer as a service. We offer a free fitting service across the UK, and we do clinics and home visits. and it's free of charge, available to everyone. So we have a big team, and what we do, we are like a walking market. So we're coming to your houses after we booked an appointment because you've been referred from your urostomates or consultant or GP. And we have all the products, all the sizes with us. So we won't just do your measurements. The idea is for you to try garments on, see which one is more suitable for you, and we will start with just one. My suggestion is just start with one, because although you've tried something, we've tried something together, and you said, yeah, I like the briefs, or I like this belt, let's try one. It's different when you're wearing something for 10 minutes, and it's totally different if you have to wear it for hours to go to work or to do your garden or to sports or anything. Can we move to the next one? All right. So the hernia pathway. We're really trying to raise awareness about the support garments. I work for Suportx like almost 14 years now, so I've seen many things, people wearing many things with buckles and bones and like a torture machine, things that you feel like impossible to wear and keep it on for 2 hours, let alone all day. So yes, they can be scary. Many people, they try different things and they will feel, no, nothing is for me. There is nothing out there. So we've decided a couple of years ago to offer the level 1 belt to everyone through their urostomates, free of charge, no prescription needed, but through the urostomates. So post-op, this belt is available to everyone. When they will leave the hospital, they will take the first kit with different bags to try and all the nice stuff. Also, they will get a belt. Just as a reminder, it's light support, it won't cause discomfort, it will cover the stomach bag. It will take away that dragging feeling a little bit. And most importantly, we will get used to the idea of wearing something over the stomach bag. So we won't go to, because we go to people's houses and we will ask, is the first time you're trying a support belt? Oh yeah, I had this and that and this and that before, different belts, all new.
Right. Well, thanks very much indeed for that. Very informative. Yeah, we've got some questions in. Just a few comments before, and perhaps covers one or two of the questions that have been raised. I mean, generally, I find, and talking to urostomates, urostomy patients, that parastomal hernias, or the formation of them possibly, is never mentioned when you have your pre-op, or before you have your operation. And certainly supportive underwear is something that's never brought to people's attention. So I think that's a something that, when I speak to people pre-op, and we do speak to a lot of people that get referred to us, it's a case of judging if the person can take the discussion. But I always try and mention it to them to be sort of careful from day one post-op, and the fact that belts and underwear is available to support them. Okay, we've got a few questions in the chat. I won't mention full names of people due to data protection, but the first one was to do with a gentleman who's got a hernia and a prolapse stoma. Would he benefit from these sort of garments? Who wants to take that one? Claire?
Yeah, well, it may not help prolapse stoma particularly, but like Maria's explained, you can have bespoke garments made for you. And I certainly think it'd be worth a conversation with their hospital team, their stoma nurse, and just see what's possible. Don't know if you want to add in, Maria.
Well, we do support garments for and it's not rare, unfortunately, a prolapse stoma. So yes, a support belt will help, depends on how big is the prolapse. So how long is the prolapse? Sometimes can be reduced, and then the stoma nurse and us, we will advise to wear the adjustable support belt. So lay down, adjust your belt, and it will help to keep your prolapse in. Sometimes the prolapse is really long, it will not go back in. Still, a breathable, especially a breathable support belt, will help a little bit with again, the dragging feeling, and to stop the prolapse to growing longer, bigger. We can't reduce it. It's not, the support belt will not reduce and stop it completely, will not fix that. Can minimize it if it's the beginning, or just help the feeling and stop it from coming further out.
Okay, thanks for that. We have one which is a slightly different situation here. A person with a urostomy and 2 nephrostomies. How can they still wear any underwear to protect that stoma?
Nephrostomies are not as common as urostomies, but they're not that out there. So we have those 2 pigtails coming out at the back. For very active people, let's say I had a gentleman that he wants to ride his motorbike and does extreme things. So we had to make a bespoke support belt to support the back as well, where the urostomies come out. So yes, we can do that. We do that. Depends on the lifestyle and the needs. Maybe a standard belt will be appropriate, or maybe we'll have to go for a bespoke belt.
Okay.
Because it depends if the nephrostomy is also going to be permanent, because they're not always.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? They're getting more and more popular, these nephrostomies seems to be these days. So yeah. So what, another person has had a weight change. How do they get remeasured?
Well, we leave everyone after the first fitting appointment with the post-fitting guide, with all the contact details. So if they need us to see them again for any reason, they will call Suportx. We'll go and see them again free of charge. Changes nothing.
Okay, thank you. Wearing support underwear, is it next to the skin, or do you suggest it's worn over existing underwear?
Well, if it's support underwear, it's personal preference and personal decision, really. Like I said before, we are allowed max 3 every year. So yes, in many areas also support underwear, because there is a confusion. What's a strong support, or a medical device, or just underwear that everybody pays for their own underwear? So they will not issue the prescription for underwear anymore. So if we're trying and we're using strong support underwear, we need to be aware that there is a limit. So yeah, you can wear 2 pairs or wash them all the time. If we can escape with a belt, makes things easier.
Okay. One observation, I think, rather than a question, regarding the point John made about loo stops. This person thinks it's just part of having a urostomy rather than related to the support belt. I mean, I personally sort of if I'm going on a long journey, I always carry a night bag in the glove box of the car. So rather than stop and have to find somewhere a hedge to go over or whatever, I normally just attach the night bag and then I'll leave that on the floor underneath the seat till I get to the other end and then empty it. So that's another way around it. But as I say, it was just a comment rather than a question, really. Not necessarily aimed at Suportx, but one person had to wait 6 weeks to get measured. What do you have a lead time on your?
Yes, we do.
Maria?
So it's a standard procedure for us from the moment we will get the referral from the stomach nurse or the GP or in general the hospital. We will contact somebody to offer an appointment within max 10 working days. The appointment will be max 15 working days if people are available that day. If not, we will offer again next week and again. The delay is to receive the garment. And unfortunately, to get the prescription, people know that also from the stoma bags, we have to wait sometimes 2 and 3 weeks. So that makes the wait about a month, really, from 3 to 4 weeks for a standard garment. And that goes up 2 more weeks if we need a bespoke garment. But not to be seen, not to do the appointment.
Okay. Another question was, are the garments latex free?
Sorry?
Latex.
Are your garments latex free?
Yes, yes, because they're
okay.
medical devices, so it's a medical grade fabric. Yes.
Okay. I think that covers most of the points in the chat. I don't know if anybody else has any questions that they would like to raise. We have a few minutes left. No? Okay. Well, with that in mind, then thanks to the speakers for a very enlightening session this evening, and to Scott, of course, for his excellent behind-the-scenes work with his 3 screens that he's got operating there. As I say, the recording of the webinar will be on the website in the next few days, and thanks to Suportx for sponsoring this event this evening, and to all of you for joining us and taking part in the event. So thanks very much indeed. Watch this space for the next topic, which I'm not sure what it is yet, but we will be out there soon with a new one. So there we go. Thanks very much indeed. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.